Hey, everybody. Hey there, it's Dr. Marsie Lynn Ross. It's that time again, guys. Time for Wellness Wednesdays, 15 minutes with your virtual pharmacist. I love, love, love. This is my favorite time of the week, coming together with you guys to talk about how we can live life full of energy, how we can put ourselves first and love ourselves the most without guilt. Hey, Tuki. I see a couple people joining. I always love to come here. Just as a disclaimer, I am a holistic pharmacist, founder of EdLyn Essentials. And this platform is really for us to come together as women, particularly women of Generation X. A lot of our information will be relevant for all women. Hey, Tuki. But because Generation X, I feel like so often we are lost in so many hats that we wear. I call us the Mad Hatters. And so because of that, I like to have this platform, Wellness Wednesdays, with your virtual pharmacist, just to come together to talk about how we can live our best life. So I'm not coming together. We're not doing this as a something that you should do instead of your doctor, going to your doctor, instead of seeking other professional guidance. This is just, we're here to offer tips. And boy, oh boy, do we have something wonderful for you here tonight on Wellness Wednesdays. We have Miss Shaune Hayes here. We're going to be talking about tips on how we, especially as women over 40 or even be in our late 30s, how we can keep our skin looking fabulous, right? It's not always about serums or injections, although I'm not opposed to those things, but how can we every day help ourselves to shine from the inside out, but also help with our makeup? And so we have Shaune Hayes here. She is a makeup artist extraordinaire. She's been in the makeup industry since 2004. She's been able to take her hobby into a business and has been a makeup artist for Academy Award winners, Grammy winners, politicians, Fortune 500 companies. And so we are so pleased to have Shaune here to share her 6 secret tips on how we can use our makeup to help our skin look younger, right? Sign me up. Thanks so much for being here, Shaune.
Thank you for having me, Marcie. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is very exciting.
Yeah, these tips.
So Shaune's going, hey, Aisha. Yeah, that's right. Thanks for checking in. So Shaune has 6 tips. We know we only have 15 minutes. I'm going to be able to share her website with you guys, but she has 6 secrets that will help us beautify our face and help us actually look younger using our makeup. So I can't wait to hear about that, Shaune. So thanks for sharing with us.
Absolutely. Shall I get started with the first tip?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you for having me. So when we think about, as we get older and, as we age and mature gracefully, there are actually, some things that we can do makeup wise to, give us that youthful kind of freshness, to our makeup. So my first tip starts with foundation, because we always want to start with the base. And so with the foundation, I love to use foundations that are cream based. Okay. And the reason why is when we think about as our skin gets older, it tends to get drier. As we mature, our skin tends to get drier. Okay. So using foundations that have a little bit more moisture, a little bit more emolliency to them really does wonders for the skin in terms of helping it look just radiant. It brings luminosity to the skin as well. Just to kind of quickly show you, this is a palette of 6 cream foundations that I use in my kit as a makeup artist. And I love using like a buffer brush to take the foundation and then just to kind of buff it over the skin. And what that does, when you think about powders start to settle into fine lines. But when you're thinking about a cream and then a buffer brush, it actually helps the foundation to kind of stay on top of the skin as opposed to settling into any texture, any fine lines. So I love using like a buffer brush just to kind of go over the skin in small circular motions to, again, bring out.
What's the difference between a regular brush and a buffer brush? Like I have no idea about that.
Right. So buffer brush, you think about the shape of it. It's rounded. It's a little bit more dense in terms of the bristles. Mm-hmm. Usually foundation brushes tend to be flat. You may be familiar with the ones that are flat. This one has a lot more fullness to it. So it's going to allow that product to just kind of smooth over your skin and without, packing it on and making it feel cakey or too heavy. So it's just a difference in terms of the shape. That's what we're talking about here as far as buffer brush.
And so when you're choosing the foundation, how do you choose the color? Do you mix it up? How do you decide what color works for you? Like your neck doesn't look different colors. How do you do that?
So the thing to keep in mind, especially with women of color, 9 times out of 10, we have different tones. All of us have different tones to our skin. But typically as a makeup artist, I will use a number of tones on my clients. But your everyday person is not going to do that. I think it's too involved. And so, the tried and true trick of swatching it right there on the jawline it still works in terms of matching up your foundation color. So that still works. Trying to get that color closest to, what you see.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Aisha said she's taking notes. I know that's right. Me too. I took plenty. We talked yesterday. I had pages and pages of notes. You see, I have my brand new lipstick. I can't wait for you to get to that part.
I like it.
Okay, so we have our foundation on. And you're one that they'll say, last 24 hours or 12, not 24 hours, but last all day. Should we pick something that will last if we wanted to go to work and then go to happy hour after? It's holiday season now. So how do we, choose in terms of like lasting?
Right. Yeah, it's tons of foundations on the market. So that's where it can be very overwhelming, but you got to think about who you are and what you prefer. Some people don't want a foundation that lasts all day. Some want it just to last, a number of hours. So it really depends on the person. For me, the foundations that I use, they do give me coverage. They do last all day. When you're thinking about a cream foundation, you do want to set it with something. And so that's where a translucent powder comes in so that you can set the makeup, set it in place, and so that it will give it staying power.
Okay.
So it just depends. Yeah. They have liquid foundations that last all day as well. So it's lots of options.
Okay. Hey, Dee, thanks so much for joining us. It's our first time on the show. Thanks so much. We're so happy to have you. Hopefully we're learning how to keep our skin looking youthful using our makeup. Yes. So we've got our foundation on. Now, what's the next one? So that's step 1. That's tip 1.
Yeah, that's one way to kind of help yourself look younger. Think about using cream foundation and buffing it on. Second step would be your brows.
We don't have a question regarding foundation. I just want to make sure we're accurate. Is the same as cream-based foundation?
BB cream is a little different. It's not as, I think of BB creams as being very light, almost like a tinted moisturizer or like a colored moisturizer. So it's not the same as a cream-based foundation. It's not as heavy. It's not going to give you the coverage that a cream foundation might give you. It is a good option for using day to day if you just want very light sheer coverage, but it's definitely not the same as a full cream-based foundation.
Okay. And then Alicia had a question on primer and a finishing spray. Is that something part of the 6 tips, or is that something we can address before the end of the show?
I can talk about that. So I'm starting these tips thinking that we've already kind of moisturized, washed our face, moisturized it, and did our primer. So I'm starting after you've done your moisturizer or primer, then we go into foundation.
Okay, that's a good question.
So that's where I'm picking it up.
Okay, so now we have our foundation on, ladies. Now the next step is
I say let's talk about brows because they truly frame the face.
Okay.
So as we get older, you'll find that our brow hairs don't grow in, as they did when we were younger. So you want to just take either the most natural thing is to use like a powder, so like a dark brown or something, and then just kind of lightly fill it in. I like to use an angled brush to do that. And then it has a spoolie on the end because you want to make sure that the color is distributed throughout the brow.
Can you put that up closer to your camera so we can really the brush?
Yeah, and this is the brush here. Let me see. Can you see this? Oh, where am I? There we go.
No, lift it up. You're up. Wherever. That's it. That's perfect.
First time. Bear with me. Thank you.
I love it. Okay.
So angle, and then on the other end is a spoolie. And what I like to do is just kind of brush the color through the brow with this.
Okay.
And so, when you're filling in your brows, you want to think about filling in the areas that are sparse. So you don't have to go crazy and fill in the entire brow. Only the areas where the hair may not be growing in like it used to.
Okay. So we have our foundation and we have our eyebrows. Okay.
Yep. Okay. And then next is eyes. Okay. So I wear my glasses a lot, so I don't do tons of eyeshadow. But as we get older, our eyelids tend to get thinner. The skin loses its texture. You'll notice that maybe it's moving a little bit more than it used to. It's a little finer. Sometimes in some instances, it's a little crepey like. So when it comes to eyeshadow, I say think about using nude colors or neutral colors on the lid so as not to draw attention to anything that may not be, what it used to be.
Okay.
So again, think about your skin tone using some eyeshadow colors that are close to that on the lid, and then you can get a little fancy, on the outer corners with other colors. So yeah, don't, lots of shimmers and frosty colors tend to look not so great as we get older. So that's what I mean, thinking about using colors that are more nude and maybe that have a, less shimmer and more of a matte finish.
Okay. Do you have a brand or a preference that you like to use, especially for maybe darker skin tones or pigmented skin tones?
Right.
You have a preference?
Yeah, there's tons of options out there as a part of my business, because I do like to have a full service for my clients where they can come to me, learn, and also get products. I do use Limelight by Alcone, which has, gorgeous shades for our skin tone, as well as all skin tones. But then other lines out there, see, Fashion Fair has gorgeous shades for our skin tone. Iman, MAC has great eyeshadows. I mean, it's tons of options. There's tons of options.
Okay. All right. So we have our foundation, and I think, just with the foundation, especially with the laugh lines, when you get to your eyes, you also don't have so much pronounced just because you use the right foundation. And so we have our eyebrows, we have our eyes. So we're on 4. What's the 4th tip?
So the 4th tip is eyeliner. So as we get older, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to stop wearing eyeliner. It's just, it doesn't look good as much, or that I think we kind of shy away from it because we think we just can't wear it. Mm-hmm. I tend to disagree with that. I think eyeliner is definitely a must keep as we get older. And the reason why is because it frames the face so nicely. The other thing too is, like with eyeliner, a lot of times as we get older, maybe we don't have the steadiness in our hand to do that line going across the way we used to. Mm-hmm. So it's a couple of things you can do there. I like using a pencil eyeliner, which is very creamy, and then drawing it across, but it doesn't have to be perfect, because then I'll come in with maybe, an angled brush and just smudge it. So I like a smudged or smoky eyeliner look, because it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. It's, it's easy for you to, think you made a mistake and you can go back and fix it, because again, it's not about perfection, but it's about really smudging it. And if you feel like you just don't have the balance, or steady hand to do the eyeliner, you can take an angled brush again and just, put the color on the angled brush and do it that way as well.
Great tip.
It gives you a little bit more control.
Yeah, great tip. So what about, you said you're not a fan of liquid liner, or you are?
As we get older, I'm not. I just think I like the liquid liners that have more of a felt tip in terms of the application, as opposed to the ones that are just really runny liquid eyeliner. Because it just looks too harsh, and it's really dark, and it dries sometimes with a sheen or shine.
Okay.
It just
Aisha agrees. She definitely agrees with that. Yeah, I like that tip, that with the smile. I love that tip you just gave. Yeah. We have our foundation on, we have our eyebrows, we have our eyeshadow, and we have our eyeliner.
And so now we're moving to blush. Okay. So I cannot stress the importance of blush because of the life.
It really, you don't think it does, but there's a little bit of that. It's like, oh my gosh, it just brought my face to life.
Yes, it brings so much life to the face. So one tip though to think about with blush is to apply it in an upward angle, because as we get older, we want to think about lifting our face. We don't want to do anything that's going to drag it down. So when you're applying your blush, you want to have that going up at an angle. Okay, on the apples of the cheek, I'm smiling. You can see my apples right there, putting it there and just having it on the upward part of the cheek. Okay, nothing that's going to go straight back, because that just can, draw the face down. But think about pulling it up as you apply blush.
Now I have seen, Shaune, blush go very wrong on some people. Yeah. So how do you pick the tone? How do you pick how much goes on there? Because I have seen Raggedy Ann walking around the streets. Yes. And so how do you know, like just a hint versus, and how do you know if you have very light pigmented skin versus dark pigmented skin? How do you know? I've seen one that has like pink, like almost like an array of color on it, like a mineral powder that just not just all one color, which I thought was very cool.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's tons of blushes. It's tons of finishes. You can have a matte finish. You can have a shimmer finish to the blush. There's also bronzer, which is, similar in some sense as far as that. But in terms of application, I always tell my clients, think less is more, because you can always build and add. But it's hard to go in with tons and then try to take it away when you realize it's too much. So less is more. To kind of show you an example, here's a blush palette. And
Okay.
here's a blush brush. I'm just going to put a little bit in here.
Okay.
And I always like to tap it just to get off any excess that might be on there. Then I smile. And then with blush, I love to just kind of do circular motions or just kind of step it back.
Okay.
So I'm just very conservative when it comes to blush. So just very conservative. You can build it, but I just say start less is more. A couple of taps in the blush, and then tap off the excess, and then just smile and apply it.
Okay.
So, and with women of color, I like
she's fair skinned, and so she feels like the blush is too pink for her. So, what do you recommend?
I would recommend her going for warmer tones. So maybe instead of looking at pinks, which are cooler, look at some peachy colors. Like peachy tone blushes. I think that'd be nice with her being fair skinned. It's gonna warm her skin up really nicely. So something like a nice peach, which I don't know how this is showing here, but this peach color here would actually be gorgeous on a fair skinned person.
Okay. And then Debbie says she likes it. I think you already mentioned about the bronzer instead of. I've never heard of that. That's so great. Bronzer.
Yeah, blush. Yeah. I love bronzer. I actually use bronzer more than blush, to be quite honest. Sometimes I'll do a combination of both, where I'll do the bronzer to kind of contour my cheek area a little bit, and then I'll take a little bit of blush and just put it right there on the apples.
Okay.
But I'm a big fan of bronzer. It brings nice warmth to the skin, especially as we lose color in these winter months.
Right.
So bronzer, you want to think about bronzer you put where the sun will naturally hit you. So you'll see people putting bronzer up here, down the bridge of the nose, over here on the cheeks, and then even right here.
Okay.
So you want to think about where the sun naturally hits you in terms of where to put bronzer.
Okay. And it shouldn't be like patches. It should blend in, right?
It should blend in. So you want to think buffing, circular motions like that. And then the other thing with bronzer, it needs to be a shade or two darker than you for it to really give the effect that you want. If not, it's going to look ashy and washed out. So it needs to be deeper than your skin tone.
And Tammy agrees. The less is more. Aisha said, thank you so much. Yeah, I agree. These are great tips. I'm like, this is because I'm not a makeup person. So I always struggle with like the essentials, but knowing that I can use my makeup to help my skin look younger. Like I love the idea. So, and then the last tip is what I'm ready for. So awesome. We got our face. We got all five, guys. So we have our foundation, we have our eyebrows, our eyelids, our eyeliner, our blush, and now the sixth thing.
The sixth tip, we finally get to lips. So I am a big fan of lip colors that have color. So I know a lot of the nude look is in, and the other thing that's in are the lip stains or the matte lip colors. When we get older, our lips tend to, again, lose the plumpness that they had. They lose the natural hydration that we had. So so when it comes to lip colors, I really love using lipsticks that are super hydrating. So they're very, a moisturizing lipstick as opposed to, a matte stain or lip that, doesn't have any shine or any, sheen to it. And the other thing, in addition to lips, is using lip liner to kind of define the lips and to, for those that maybe have thinner lips, lip liner is good to just kind of outline the lip. You can give it a little bit of fullness with that as well. And then
I've seen lip liner go very wrong too. What do you recommend when we do the lip liner? Like some people do black and then I've seen the outline with black, like eyeliner for lip liner. Like what do you recommend in terms of using?
Please don't do that. let's let that trend go. So I think about, whatever lip color I'm wearing, I try to find a lip liner that's similar to that because I really want there to be fluidity between the lip liner and the lipstick. Okay. I don't really want you to be able to necessarily tell that, I have a completely different lip liner and then I fill it in with lipstick. So I tend to use a lip liner that's very close to the lip color that I'm using. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to add too, just in terms of, think about brightening up your face by adding color, not being afraid, to add color to what you're wearing, and not doing so much nude lipstick because it can actually make you look older. When I say nude, the really kind of very bare lip look as we get older, not as flattering. So I'm a big believer of, bringing color to your lips.
Okay.
Like I did tonight.
I love it. I love it. And so we have our whole face done. Ladies,
Yes.
if you have any particular questions, I know some of the routines that we've been using over, when we're in our 20s or 30s, now may not work for us. If you notice anything changing, you want to ask Shaune. You have a website, right? She's on social media, but she also has a website that you can go to have inquiries. And any consults you want, she does it all. Any events that you have. One of the things that's great is that Shaune not only does makeup for women, you also do makeup for men. Correct?
Yes, yep, grooming, absolutely. Yep, men need makeup for photo shoots on television or film. Yeah.
Debbie has one more question. This can be our final question, unless you guys. You can definitely reach out to. Oh, we did. I think we addressed that. Bless your prime. Okay, I think we've addressed all the questions that I saw out there. But you have a team of hair artists, and so any of your event needs for both yourself and for whether your partner, your bridal party, you do all of that, right?
Yes, absolutely. Then I love teaching, everyday women how to, apply their makeup and how to come up with a routine that works for them. Very customized, very personalized, because everyone's, needs and everyone's life is different. So I really love doing it.
If you want to reach Shaune, you can reach out to her. We'll put the link to her website in the comment section so you can find it. What is it? www.Shaune Hayes
Makeup.
Okay, Shaune Hayes Makeup. And I can put it right here so everybody can see. I can't type. Makeup.com. Is that it?
Awesome. Yes, that's it.
So you can reach out to Shaune. Thank you, Shaune, for being here, helping us to, look our best, feel our best, and our whole face is made up, and that we can use this. And as we continue to have these healthy regimens, then we'll look youthful longer. And that's what it's all about, right?
Yes, that's what it's all about. Yep. Right. Doing this thing gracefully.
That's right. Well, thank you, guys. We've had another great Wellness Wednesdays. We will see you back here next week. We're hoping to have actual esthetician on for next week's show so we can get deeper with our skincare. So we'll talk about more than applying the makeup. What should you do in terms of your nightly routine? What should you do during the day? And so definitely tune in next week. Okay, guys? Thank you. Have a great rest of the week. Thanks, Shaune.
You're welcome. Thank you.